So in this model inheritance itself, we have two type of inheritance. We can say three, but basically two types. And under the traditional inheritance and delegation inheritance are both of them. Okay, under the traditional inheritance, we have a small change with the mechanism that then it comes to two separate ideas. As the image represents, you can see we have a basic object, object 1, and it have an attribute, attribute 1. Okay, then we are creating a inheritance. It's called class inheritance. The first one called class inheritance. Under the traditional, we have two types. One is class inheritance and another one is prototype inheritance. So this class inheritance, we are just adding new attributes to the existing object. Okay, so in that case, you will have to give the name is equal to object 1. You see the same one, the object 1, the already the object that we have already we have in our modules. We give them the same object name. Under that we have to give an inherit attribute with the same name. Okay, so the new object that we are creating will have the same name, and it inherits the same object that we have already in our source code with the same name. So it's used to add new features to the existing object. Okay, existing business object. You can this new object that we are creating will be compatible with the existing views, and it will be updated in the same table. Okay, now the next part is prototype inheritance. You will get an idea when we go through this again. So the next one is, you can see there's a change when we define this object. The name is given as new. Okay, the inherit is equal to object 1. So what will happen is, the new object will get all the features of the object 1, then obj1. Okay, and the new class will not be bounded with the existing views of object 1, and it will be stored in different table. Okay, so the image represents the same. So the object 1 will be stay like that, and the new one will get all the features of the object 1, and the new things that we will add will be added into the new object, and the views that the form views or search tree view or anything that we have already defined on object 1 will not be connected with the new object. Okay, then next thing is, it will be stored in another table. So this one and this one will be in different tables. Okay, the next inheritance method is delegation inheritance. So that is a little bit different one. So this one allows to link every record of a model to a record of a parent model. Okay, so I hope you didn't get that. So you can see in the picture, there is a small there is the same object 1, the main object that we are inheriting is included in the new object that we are going to create. So you can see the small change in the inherits part. The name is new, just like the prototype inheritance, but it was inherit without S in prototype inheritance, but in delegation inheritance we will add an extra S. Okay, so we can provide multiple options here, like we can inherit from multiple object in this type of inheritance. That's why they put obj comma obj1 comma dot dot. Okay, so we can have obj2. If we have an obj2 object, then we can put the obj2 again. So inside this new object, there will be a small element of object1 and object2. So each record that we are going to create under this new object, we can add a link to the object1, the original object that we have created. Some of you may have already confused. So let's check our some examples from the Odoo source code itself. Let's find an example. Those who are not familiar with PyCharm, it's a search option that we can search the entire code of Odoo for the terms that we want to search. Okay, you can just select right click on this. I'll take it one more time so that you get an idea. You can either find in path. Okay, this is the method that I just clicked. Control Shift F or the shortcut for that one. So click on that, then inherits. You can see many examples in Odoo source code. Let's take something familiar. Okay, so this one, it's a product table that Odoo have. So this one have a name and it is using an inherits. It inherits the product template table, and this table is called product. This object is called product.product, and the product template is another table. Okay, so it's maybe defined at the top or something at the bottom or somewhere else. Let's see. It's an add-ons products model portfolio. Okay, let's go to the products. You see the product table, product template. So there is a product template table. It's inheriting many features from other tables like mail thread, mail activity mixing, image mixing. Those are different purposes you will get to know when you play with Odoo more frequently and more detail. So this product table is another table, and this one is the product template. Okay, the product template and the product. So Odoo have two mechanism in products part. So we can have a product table, and we can under that product template, and under that product template we can have different variants of the same product. Just like if we have an iPhone, you can have different color variants, different memory variants, kind of things. So I am not going to the that functional part in detail. So these are totally different tables, but the product variant, this is the table used for the product variant. And you see this product table, this is the product template. So this is will be the iPhone 11 or something like that. We will name the table element as iPhone 11, and here it will be something like the price extra. You see the more details like uh, the color, price, extra price, memory kind of things, different things. So what Odoo, what happened is this every record, every element that we are creating in this product table, sorry, product table will have a link to the product template table. Okay, so this field will be mentioned here somewhere. You see the product template ID. So there is a many to one field is given. You see, many to one field. I hope you remember that, and it is connected to product template. It's auto join true, index true, on delete cascade, record. These are other attributes of that field. I will tell you where you can get those things. We cannot cover all those things in our webinar. Okay, so I will let you know where you can find those things and find out how they are working. So there is Odoo's documentation for that things that you can get from the Odoo's website. I will share the link the last day. Okay, then so that's how. So the product will have all the attributes that we have, like in the name. See name, sequence, description purchase, description sale. You see you may have seen that type, consumable, service, and rental, category. All these kind of things are defined on the product template table, and only price extra, LST price, default code, partner reference, these kind of things are defined under the product variant. So when we in our sale order and invoice and everything, we select the product variant, not the product template. We won't select the product template. We always select the product variants. Even if you are not enabled the product variant option, you are selecting the product variant table elements in the sale order and invoices and everything. So where they get, we are not defining any table, or we are not having the names for this product. So from where the product, that means the product variant, are getting the names and category, those kind of things. So that's what we are or to have done with this inherits option, inherits attribute. So each element that is created under the product variant will have a connection to a product template element. Okay, so the product variant will get those details that should be defined on the product template through that connection. So that's how the delegation inheritance works. The next part is now we discussed about 3 types of inheritance in the model. That means in the business objects, on the business object we can make. I hope you are clear about that. And now what we are going to discuss about is the view inheritance, how we can make changes in our existing views. That means existing form view, it may be existing form view or existing tree view, or if we take an example, we can say the sales order, you want to add some more fields. So how we can do that? That's what we are going to discuss next. So Odoo, we are using the XPath expression, XPath element for that. I will show you that just before that I am just giving an explanation. So instead of we are going to the original source code of the existing view and editing them in the original source code, we always suggest to create a small module for this kind of activities. Okay, this kind of modifications, customization. So we can inherit an existing view in our custom modules. So these extensions will be applied on the existing view. We will take that existing view as a root view, and it will be applied on top of that root view. Okay, and we can add or remove or hide, or we can set a group attribute to just hide for a specific group that we discussed on security. Either anything that you can do. Okay, remove content from the parent or anything like that. So in that case, I will show you some examples. Okay, now we have, okay, before going to that part, let's check the user interface, then you will have a more good idea. Let's try it, please. Here you can see these are the views that defined for the HR employee object. Okay, so there is a Kanban view, an activity view, form view, search view, tree view, another form view. Again, you see the type is form, HR employee tree view. So we have two form views defined for the same element. Okay, you will need that in some cases, like you may have to represent in a different way in some cases the same element different ways in different cases. So you will need that part. But here the table inherited view, you see the table head here, the column head. So inherited view, this one is inheriting HR employee form. That means we are inheriting this HR employee view form inherit organization chart, put org chart is inheriting this form. Okay, so let's go to the employee. No hierarchy position. This is the organization chart. Okay, you see this organization chart. This is the area that added by this form view. See the employee right, H4 there's a class organization chart and child ID is HR organization. So using a widget, they are representing that organization structure. So this view only have this content. Okay, organization chart. Now let's go to this edit form view. Edit view form. You cannot see that organization chart here. So they are showing you the HR employee form, the root form that we have for HR employee. They are showing only that part. Okay, now here you can see inherited views. There you will have the inherited view. That means that the one that we are created, that we have just opened here is shown here. Okay, the HR employee view form inherited organization chart. You can see that organization chart part here. So how they did this? Let's check into our check in our Odoo source code. It's in the HR employee model, HR organization chart. So it's in different tables. Sorry, it's in different modules. Okay. So let's take the external ID. See this external ID? You can make use of this feature in your development. It's a very good feature. The development mode, you will get almost everything that you need in development. Let's search for that term. View employee form, and now we have a file mask. Just change that to XML because our views are recorded in XML. You see this one? Yes, this is the main view, the form view that is defined for HR employee. The record that start from here and ends way below here. Okay, you cannot see the organization chart term anywhere in this record. This organization chart came from another table, another module, not only from another table. This module is providing that structure, that organization structure, the one that you have seen here. This structure, okay. In the views, HR view, you see this was the name that we have seen there, right? The HR employee view form inherit organization chart. Let's make sure the same name. HR employee view form inherit organization chart. Yes, the same thing. So only the part we have is this one. Okay, so what they have done, so what's the difference we have in the definition of this form view with the existing one and the one that is inheriting? Here you have the record and you have to provide ID and model ir.ui.view and field name HR employee form. You have to provide a name and you have to provide on which business object you have to define this form view. They have done HR.employee. Then just like all other forms that we have yesterday mentioned, and under the architecture you have the structure, the form and other fields, sheet, header, notebook, pages, those kind of things, everything that comes under that. In HR view, the inherited one, we have an extra element. See this one, the inherit ID. So in that, for that inherit ID, we are giving value as a reference attribute. Okay, ref is equal to view employee form. So this is the same name, the ID that we gave here. Okay, so view employee form. Then what is this part? The HR. This is the module that this view employee form is defined. Okay, in HR module we have this view employee form in our HR module. You see under the add-ons HR. So this view employee form is defined in HR module. That's why we have to put the HR dot view employee form value for inherit ID. Then same as other normal form views, we can just put in field name arc. Then the next thing is, you see here, ID object or work employee main. Okay, so this term will be used in our root form. Okay, let's see where it is. Yeah, under the public information, you see under the name public, the work information section, we have a div, a division, or work employee main. So under this is that section. Okay, all this part till this closing div. In our HR view, we have mentioned that position after. So after this O work employee main div, this inheritance model that we have given is the user inheritance view definition will have another div. We'll add another div. It's called O employee right. Okay, and it will have an organization chart heading, and organization child IDs will be shown as HR organization chart in a widget. That's what we are seeing here. It's under the work information, and in the right side of that, after this division, in the right side, we are having this organization chart. So that's how you can get it. So some cases you will face difficulties to identify which form and kind of things. So some cases, if you did everything right, sometimes it won't come up, or sometimes it will throw error. In that case, I will show. I will explain some examples. Like if you want to remove this part and something like a different part, different thing here instead of this location, and you are customizing and you are adding a new item or replacing that item. At the same time, another module, it happens when you having different custom modules from different authors, or if you don't remember what you have done in another module, or maybe you may have created some months ago, something like that. So if you don't remember what exactly happening in that module, and you are creating a new module to the same Odoo, so that module may have already replaced this part. So in those cases, in same two different modules are replacing, or two different view definition are replacing same part, or accessing same areas like this one. Like we have given here, you see the different div ID or work employee main. So if any other module, any other person in your company is working along with you in the same project, he is already replacing this part or making any modification on the same area, then there may have some errors. So maybe the element not found or something, and does not exist or something like that. So you will get an error, something like that. So don't worry about at that time. So you just check on all the modules. So it will be easy for you to find out what is happening by looking into this part. That's why I introduced this area for you. So you will have a basic, the root view form view here. So you can see what are the things that we have there, and what are the changes other inherited views are making. So you will get all the views that is inheriting our root view. Okay, so you will have all the list of views that is inheriting. So you can check each and every one, and in which part they are making changes and everything. So you will get all the details you needed. You see, you can get the module name from this part, HR organization chart. This is the module name, and this is the unique reference ID of that view. So you can just directly copy this part, and you can just in the enter Odoo code, and you will get what you are looking. So simply as simple as that. So there is no complication. You don't have to worry about anything. You can make use of this developer mode too. So it is available for every window. Okay, you see this Kanban view also have the same option, edit view Kanban. Okay, there are a lot of things in this drop down. We cannot explain all those things now, so you can make use of these things. Okay, so now let's get back to our Open Academy. What we are doing is, in our Open Academy, we are going to do a model inheritance and a view inheritance. So for a model inheritance, we are modifying already existing partner model. Okay, the model that we are using for the customer, supplier, those kind of usages, we are going to modify that model. Okay, to what we are going to do is, we are setting a flag that we can enable for if the person is an instructor, we can mark that person as an instructor. So we are going to do that, and we are going to set a many-to-many relation with the session. Okay, so one person can have different session, can be instructor of different sessions, and vice versa. Okay, many-to-many relations. So let's go to our module. So what we are done is, I have already set up these things for you. So I added a partner.py file. Okay, so this is a new Python file. Okay, py file. So I added a new partner.py file. In that I have put the from Odoo import fields and models. So basic Python thing. Okay, in that partner, I already mentioned that we are adding just a flag, instructor flag. So it's adding a new field into an existing restored partner object. Okay, so we are only using inherit. So inherit is restored partner, and we adding a new column, instructor fields dot boolean instructor. Then if we haven't provided any attribute name, then it will take as string. Okay, default it will be false, and we have session IDs that is connected with the Open Academy session, and it's a many-to-many relation. Okay, attended session. So this one, let's see. After we add a py file, we have to mention that that py file in our init.py. So I just added that part. Okay, from .import partner. So it's not that difficult. You can just, like in PyCharm, you will have it. You will get a suggestion. So you can just click on that suggestion. It will pre-fill that part. Okay, so we have added that in the partner. So in our init file, we already mentioned the models. In this main init file, we have the model. So the connection to that partner.py is completed. The main init file have a connection to the models, and that model file have a connection to the py file that we have just created. So this have only 2 fields, and it will be added to the all the existing feature we have in our restore partner object, the instructor and session IDs. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to make that instructor and session ID fields visible for our partner views. Okay, so where is our partner? Let's see. Under the contact. Okay, let's see. Let's install an app, sale or something. Okay, install the CR. Okay. So we have a record. We have given the model and given a unique ID, partner instructor form view, and the name is given partner instructor. The model is given restore partner, and inherit ID base dot view partner form. Okay, so this the root element, the root form view of that partner object is defined in the base module, and the name of that form view, the ID of that form view is view partner form. Okay, so in this architecture, we have defined that we are going to add a new page inside the notebook. Okay, we are going to add a new page inside the notebook that already have in the partner form. So the page will be called sessions, and it's under a group, the instructor and session IDs. Okay, the session IDs is a many to many field. Let's see. Okay, in the contacts, we have the notebook here. Let's check edit view form. You see the external ID base dot view partner form. So you can get that inherit ID from by checking this edit form view option. So you see for the contact, there are a lot of views that that is inheriting this basic one. So there is one from the CRM, from the one from the SMS module, one from the mail module, web mail module, the autocomplete. There are a lot of views are inheriting this root view. So what we are going to do is, as per our view definition, we are going to add a new page under that notebook. Okay, and we just add a new action and configure a new menu configuration under our Open Academy main Open Academy menu, and under that configuration file we have added a contact menu. From that contact, if you click on that contact, we will get to the partner list. Okay, so we are making a new path to access the contacts from our Open Academy module itself. So there will be a configuration menu, and under that configuration there will be a contact just like this. And from the when we click on that contact, the action that we define here will work. So it will show a tree and form view of that contacts. Okay, so let's see. We haven't restarted the service. Let's restart. There is some problem. The stored partner instructor does not exist. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's another case that we have to mention. This restored partner and restored user, there are some objects that is always compiled. These records are always compiled by Odoo because these are very vital records. So if we add anything and then try to get back into Odoo, you will get an error. After restarting that, you will get an error. So what you have to do is you have to comment this part. Okay. Now you have already opened this app window. Okay, then I uncommitted those parts. Let's restart again. Now we don't have to load any window. Okay, so we are already in the page that from where we can upgrade the module. So the last time what happened is when the window loaded to the apps or any other pages, it will recheck those vital tables. So vital tables and vital table view definition, that kind of things. So it will throw an error because we haven't updated the module and it's not loaded into the system. So it will throw an error. That's why there was an error. So let's update. See, no error, no problem at all. We have completed the update. Now let's check the Open Academy course sessions. Okay, we didn't have the menus yet. Let's check. We have the fields that we have decided. Okay, we didn't have those either. Let's check what happened. We have, yeah, we haven't uncommented this partner.xml. That's the problem. Okay, we haven't uncommented this part. That's why the module couldn't access that XML file where we have defined the views and new menu items and actions. Let's go to the Open Academy. Okay, yeah. Now here the configuration menu is given. Contacts, contact tags. Okay, so under the contacts we have the list view of all the partners we have. So this is the restored partner. You see, restored partner, and they have the contact tags. Okay, they have put in our code we have put some teacher level 1, teacher level 2 tags as a data files. That's why these are coming. So you see this on the teacher. Yeah, we have added 2 data files. That's why 2 teacher level 1, teacher level 2 are coming. So we have created, we have made our models. Let's check what happened to our contacts form. Is that instructor or session IDs are there? Yes, session page is added. The instructor option, the checkbox is here. You can mark it as an instructor, and the sessions that is associated with the Azure interiors are listed here. So we made Azure interior as part of 2 sessions. That's why these are come. Okay, so either the partner can get partner be a attendee or partner be a instructor. If he is an instructor, we can mark him as an instructor. So we have added a new page under the existing form. Okay, and we made the instructor and new attendant sessions, the sessions many to many field as visible in our form view. So what we have done is we have given the inherit ID and the reference of the root view, and inside that we have given a small definition of our newly added things. So we put the position, and we gave the attribute. The attribute can be the attribute value. It can be inside, replace, before, after, or even you can change the attributes of that element itself. So this is how we change, we inherit a form view, and the same goes with all other views, the same structure. Okay, there is no difference. So that's all we have in the inheritance. The next thing that we have is domain. So what is domain? Domain is I will show you a slide. So simple as this one. Let's say using a specific condition, we make a subset of a models and objects records. Okay, so something like we have sale orders in our table, and we want to get the sale orders that created for a specific customer. So there will be a condition like customer is equal to Azure interior or a customer A, something like that. So based on that condition, we are creating a subset of the record that is inside a model. So that's how that's what domains are. So there will be examples like, if you are aware of Odoo, we have different type of products. We have service type products, we have storable products, we have consumable type products. So in that case, in the service, if you want to have only service type products listed in somewhere, then you will have to apply a filter. So that filter will have a condition like product type is equal to service. So these things are called the domains. Okay. So the domain condition, we can combine those domain condition, and also we have already used that domain in our record rule. Okay, so you may have seen that. You see, the responsible is equal to false, responsible is equal to user ID. So only those records that meets this condition will have this record, this access rights. Okay, so this kind of filtration, for this kind of filtration we are using the domains. Okay, this domain parameter can be added to a relational field, okay, related to field, to limit the records. So just like the example that we mentioned, the product, we may have thousands of records in the product table. So some of them may be the consumable items, some of them may be the stockable, some of them may be services. So in our case, in our form, if we have a service invoice, a different form for service invoice, you don't want to list down all the items that you have in the product table. So when you select that products from the service invoice form, you only need those are services. Okay, so at that case you can use this domain. And some cases you may need the items have more than this quantity, on hand quantity or something like that. So those are the conditions that we use the domains. So we are going to do a small change in our Open Academy module with applying a module. Okay, sorry, with applying a domain. So what we are going to do is, now we have already set on our partners that are they an instructor or not. We can mark it on our partners. So what we are going to do is, we are making a new field in our session. Okay, let's see. Yeah, in our session we are adding a field instructor ID. Okay, so this instructor ID is a many-to-one field of restored partner. So we already have that field. So what we are going to do is, this instructor ID, now we can select any partner as an instructor. Okay, you can see that in our sessions we can select any partner as an instructor. All are listed. You can search more. You see, all the partners are listed here. So I don't want everyone to be listed. I want those who are marked as instructor only list under the sessions. So I want to make a filtration. So for that, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change a little bit of this field definition. Okay, here instructor ID is equal to fields total many-to-one, restored partner is a relation, and string is equal to instructor. I'm going to add a domain. So instead of this line, I'm commenting this one and enabling this one. So what we have in extra is a domain. Okay, so domain is a list of conditions. We can add multiple conditions like this. Okay, so you can use or, and, those kind of concepts. So this domain, the instructor is equal to true. This is the condition we are going to get. So let's restart our service. If you made any changes in the Python file, it require a restart. And if you have made any definition change, the model definition or the field definition changes, if we maybe you see there is an error. So okay, that I accidentally commented. Okay, now we don't have, we are restarted that part. Now we don't have any party. Let's save this one because we haven't saved this one, that's why you see the Azure interior is not marked. So let's mark him as an instructor. Now you can select Azure interior as an instructor. So that's the role of a domain in Odoo. Okay, so you can make a subset of an already existing records of a model. You can use for filters, kind of things. Okay, so you can use now we have only used a single condition, only a single condition to filter this elements. If you want to have a combination, you can do that with the help of small conditions, like you can add a new tuple, so like this one, and add new condition inside. So that's how the domain works. So let's add one more thing. Category ID dot name. Let's put now we have two conditions. Let's see what happens. This is Azure interior. This is the category ID. Let's see. Now you can't even have the Azure interior. Even if even he is marked as instructor, we cannot select the Azure interior here because we added another condition, category ID dot name alike teacher. So we need, sorry, wrong spelling. Okay. So we need something like teacher in his category ID. So let's add that into his category. So category ID is the tags. Let's have the teacher level 1. We put that in level 1. Now let's see. Oh, we didn't restart it after correcting the name. Now we have the Azure interior again. See this one. Okay, we can select that. So if we didn't have this teacher one, we cannot select. Now we can. Now it's a and option. As a condition is instructor is equal to true and category ID name I like teacher. So if you want an or, we have another option for that. Let's add this symbol. So what will happen is the or condition will be passed. This is the or condition. This will be passed in between the next coming two conditions. So it will be like instructor is equal to true or category ID name I like teacher. So let's go back to user interface. Sorry, we have to restart. Yep. Let's add. For him, we are not giving the instructor, we are just adding teacher level 1. And for another one, we are just making the instructor. Let's see. You see, the 3 persons I've listed here. So Azure Engineer have instructor and teacher tag category, and Brendan only have the teacher. Here, this Colleen only have the instructor mark. So this how you can make different combination of the conditions. Okay, so I hope you get how we can use the domain. This is the domain. Okay, and then the next thing that we are going to discuss is computed fields and default values. So in many cases we will need we will have to compute a total or something like that. We will have to compute a value to give in a field. So how we can do that, that's what we are going to discuss now. So for compute fields, we are in our session, we are going to add a compute field, and we are going to show that compute field in a session form. Okay, session view. So let's add field. So under the session, we have already added the instructor. Now we are going to add taken seats. So this will have the count of all the seats taken. How many seats already taken in each session. Okay, so we are going to add this one, and Odoo, the ORM layer expects from us, or they expect from us that we specify dependencies, that means the computation depends on what are the fields the computation is depends. Like here you have seen a different attribute. So this something like normal fields, the field name, string, taken seeds. Instead of other things, there was record, and some cases you have provided the object name. Sometimes you have, and now we have given the domain. Instead of all those things, we are using the compute attribute here. And for the compute attribute, we have given a value taken seeds underscore taken seeds. So we have to define a function, a method with the same name. Okay, so this is our method. So this have a API dot depends. That means this taken seeds computation depends upon the seeds and attendee IDs. Okay, so we have the seeds and we have the attendee IDs. So this computation is doing, you can check, you can see the code. If not r seeds, taken seed will be 0, and if there is seeds, taken seeds is equal to 100 into length of r attendee IDs by r seeds. So it's a percentage. Okay, let's check. Now we have the function and we have the field. Next thing we want is we have to show that in our user interface. So in our session, let's add the taken seeds. Let's restart. Go to our Open Academy app. Upgrade. Under the Open Academy sessions, you see the taken seeds option is given. We didn't provide any number of seeds, so let's provide one, but some value for that. Let's take, say 15. Say this taken seeds are automatically computed and the percentage is shown as a progress bar. Okay, so let's check whether is it correct or not. Let's put 10. You see only the 4 seeds are taken, so it's showing the 40%. So either now it's shown as a the progress bar. Sometimes you may need just the value, so you don't have to put that. You don't have to show add this widget. It will only show that value only. So that's how this is how the compute feeds are working. So what you have to take care here is you have to provide the compute function, the function that computes the value for that feed. Okay, the taken seeds will have the value, but you have to provide the function that is computing the value for that field. So again, you have to mention what are the fields that depends on the computation. Okay, depends, the computation depends upon. Okay, so here the seeds and attendee IDs are the fields that the computation depends upon. So the API dot depends doing that part. This function computes the percentage for us, and in our user form, sorry, in our session form, we are showing this as a progress bar. So if we haven't given this this widget, it will not be shown as a progress bar. The next thing is default values. So any field can have a default value. So in the definition, in the field definition itself, you can provide that with a default attribute, default is equal to X or something like that. Maybe it may be something like it is applicable for any type of fields, like it can be for a boolean or an integer field, any field, fault string, anything. You can give the default option. So let's see. We have some fields that we can set default values. Yes, we have the start date. So for the start date, by default, we are going to give the current date, the date that we are going to create the session. When we create the session, the form will be automatically filled with the start date column will be automatically filled with the current date. So I just comment those part and added the new line, uncomment the new line with the default attribute. So this fields dot today. So this will have the start date, and I am adding active field also. So this active will have a true value. Now we are going to make it visible. Start date is already there. Okay, it's I misplaced that active field. Let's copy that from there. We are going to add that here. So we have already the field definition for the start date. We are adding an extra field active. So what will happen? Let's see. We have to update the module. So restart and update. Okay, let's go to Open Academy and Academy sessions. See, this is the session. So there is no start date for the we have already created. Let's try to create a new one. Now you can see the start date is automatically given as default value. It's taken as today's date. Okay, 6/10/2020. So this is how you can also you can see the active is marked as true, so it's checked. So this is how you can set a default value for your fields. The next thing, I hope you are clear about that. So we have go through the compute and default options. Okay, now we need sometimes we need some changes based on other fields changes, like when we make the quantity, when we change the quantity, we need the total price updated based on that quantity in the sales order or something like that. So those kind of things, how we can do those kind of things. So based on the change event, we have to update another data or another something like that. Any process we have to do, how we can do that. That's what we are going to check next. Okay. So now we are enabling this part. So that you can see a decorator. These things are called decorator, API.onChange and API.depends. These things are called decorators. So this decorator, this is a new thing. This is the onChange. So if any change we make on these cases, seeds or attendee IDs, we will check the seeds. Okay, verify valid seeds. So any negative number happen, any cases, something like that. So we are going to if self.seeds less than 0, when we set here we already set as the total number of seeds. We have already set total number of seeds is equal to 5 or something. You see it's 80%. Now 100%. Still I can add. See, so I want to block it. So I want to block it. So I need to make some validation whenever this thing is changing or this one is changing. So now let's assume we have 6 and I have 100%. Now someone comes in and changing it to 4, then the available seats is only 4, but we have 6 attendees. So it will make a big problem in some cases based on your business purpose you are using. So this kind of mistakes we have to avoid. So we are writing a function that will execute any time we make changes on seats and attendees. So the basic definition of onChange is the onChange mechanism will provide a way for the client interface, that means our user interface, to update a form whenever a user has made any changes on a specific field. So here we have 2 fields, seeds and attendees. Okay. So without saving into the database, you will this code will be executed and it will do the conditions and checks everything that you have given under that method. So here we have defined API.onChange for the seeds field and attendees fields. So this verify fields, where verify valid seeds, it will be executed and every time we make changes on that 2 fields. So the condition is given: if self.seeds less than 0, then this warning will be raised. Incorrect seeds value, the number of available seeds may not be negative. So we cannot set a negative value for seeds. Next thing is seeds.length less than the self.seeds is less than the attendee IDs. We cannot have the number of seats less than the attendee IDs. The system will say increase the seats or remove excess attendees. You may have to increase the seats, or you will have to remove the extra attendees. So let's see. Let's check how it's working. Now increase the seats or remove excess attendees. There is nothing. The number of available seats may not be negative. If I set a positive number 3, again it will show increase seats or remove excess attendees. And I put 7, no problem at all. And I'm adding 2 people. Again, see, increase seats or remove excess attendees. So before I am saving this, all these messages are coming. This Onchange method works whenever you change a field's value. This Onchange method will work if you have defined a Onchange on that field. So you can use that for many purposes and different cases. Like this one is for just a validation, and sometimes you may need to compute the values based on if you are making a computer something a calculator or something. It's a small application or something like that in Odoo. So if you whenever you put a value on the each columns, it will automatically compute the sum or something like that. Those kind of things, everything that we can do using this Onchange function. So here we have set a condition like we cannot have negative value for seats. We can set this without using Onchange. We can set some constraints like this without using the Onchange function. We have another mechanism for those kind of constraints, like we cannot have the same name, we cannot have the same ID or something like that. Okay, so those kind of constraints. So we have 2 type of model constraints in Odoo. One is that we create using the Python. It's called Python constraints, and another is using the SQL. Okay, SQL constraints. So a Python constraint is defined as a method, just like this one, decorated that we have mentioned here under this constraint, just like the Onchange and compute. Okay, so here the condition that we have given is check instructor not in attendees. We cannot have the instructor inside attendees list. Those kind of restriction we can set with this model constraint mechanism. So we have 2 options. The first one is Python constraint. That's what we are looking at. Now for that we are using a exception. So we have to add that in our import line. We are throwing an exception. So the validation error. Okay, so for in self, the record.instructor ID and recorder.instructor ID in record.attendee IDs. If this condition is true, then system will throw a validation error. A sessions instructor can be an attendee. So a partner cannot be the instructor and a attendee of the same session. So that's the constraint that we are going to set now. Yeah, okay. Let's put 10. So here we have Azure interior. Let's try it without updating the module. Let's see. Cancel. Let's first save it. And let's add Azure interior. You see, our validation error comes here. SSN instructor can't be an attendee. So I cannot save this with this without making it this condition compatible with my constraints. I cannot save this data into my database. So I will have to remove this one, or I will have to change the instructor. So I cannot have the instructor and the attendee, the same person in as an instructor and attendee for a session. So that's how the Python constraints are working. So I hope you got the point. So Python constraints, you can check, you can have different examples. Just like I mentioned earlier, you can just search on the add-ons folder. You will get a lot of examples for that. See, a lot of examples are there. So you can check this one, anyone, all these things, and you can get a more detailed idea about different ways that we can use this API.constraint decorator in the Python constraints. And the next thing that we have, the same, the purpose is same, but different approach. It's a SQL constraint. So the SQL constraint we are going to set upon the course model. Okay. So this is the SQL constraints. Sorry. So name and description check. That's our first condition, and name should be unique. Okay. So the title of the course should not be description, and the course title must be unique. That's our condition. The two conditions that we are setting on our course. So we cannot have the title and the description as same value, and we cannot have two different courses with the same name. Let's restart the service. I hope you are noticing this term, how we are defining this. Okay, so it's a underscore SQL underscore constraint is equal to, so it's just under our fields. You see, under the class, under the fields, we are having this one, SQL constraints in a square bracket. It's called list. Inside that we have this tuple. So we are giving a name and the condition and the message. Okay. Now we have restarted the service. Let's check what we can do with this one. Open Academy courses. Let's first create a course 0. Same name. process space. Okay, let's maybe it's not updated. Let's upgrade the module. Okay, so there is some that's already coming. Let's remove this one. Create again. Let's go to apps. Insert get again. I think something missed, right? Yeah, so it's working. The course title must be unique. We cannot have the system will not let you create the courses with the same name. Okay, so the course name must be unique. So let's see what will happen. We can provide the 4 or 3. Let's see, 3. I can create if I'm giving a unique one, but what will happen if I put the same? Okay, it's responsible, right? So in the description, if I put the same value, 3 equals 3, again it will not the system will not let we provide the same data for the title and description. So I will have to give a different something different than the name. So now a system is accepting my entry. So that's how the unique constraints, those kind of things that we can give the SQL constraints. Now there is a problem when we make something like this, when we set a SQL constraint, unique constraints kind of things. Now we have a unique constraint for the name. We cannot have the same name. Okay, so there is a problem we have to take care of, because we can duplicate this entry. So what will happen when we duplicate? You see, the course must be unique. So if you have a lot of a big form with a lot of data, and you want just a copy of that data, okay, you want a same element with the same data, we can have a new name, but you want to take a duplicate. So if you have already defined a SQL constraint for a unique name or something like that, any unique constraints, when you take a duplicate, it will not let you have a duplicate, because when we take a duplicate, it will first save database a duplicate copy of that item. So when they try to save that in the database, the unique constraint will block them to save, block them from saving this data. Okay, so what we will have to do is we will have to redefine the copy mechanism of this table only for this table. Okay, so we will have to redefine the copy mechanism. So the copy mechanism is already defined by default. It's defined in the ORM. You don't have to define that in any new fields. You don't have to define that. So in this special cases we will have to redefine this copy method. So what we have provided is we have put the copy default on a copy count. There's a count they are taking. I will explain why this much data in there, this much line of code. So we have provided first I am making some changes. Let's try duplicating. Okay, there is an SQL constraint error. Oh, okay. The code snippet that I just commented is not completed. That's why. Return supercodes. Copy default. We missed the bracket. So so here first you don't have to bother about this part. I will show you what we are going to do. So here we are, when the copy mechanism running, default will be selected and the new name copy of the format self.name. So it will be the self.name, the current record's name. If you are taking the course 0, duplicate of course 0, the self.name will have the course 0. So what will happen is it will be added the copy of course 0. The name of the new record will be copy of uh, copy of course 0. So let's see what will happen. You see the name copy of course 0. So I saved this. If I try again, it will copy of so 0. So to avoid that string of copy of duplicating again and again, that's why they had this much line to handle those case. It's a basic Python thing. Many of you may have may know that. Okay, just So I'm deleting this one. Okay, I don't have access to delete. It's okay. Now let's duplicate one. Copy of course 1, course 0. In the bracket we have a count. Okay, so if I do it again, copy of course 0 number 2. So that way we can avoid getting the names too long with a copy of something like that. So this way you can redefine your own duplicate function. Okay, so if we put a unique constraint or something, it will block you. The unique constraint will block you from duplicating the code. So to avoid that, you have to redefine the copy function. So you can decide what you have to do inside the copy function. You have to do is it a copy of or something like that, or with name, or just the count in the bracket without the copy of string, or whatever you want. You can define inside that copy function. So at the last you have to call the super function, the course and the copy default. Okay, so this is how the model constraints are working. Now we are going to the views again. In the last day we discussed about the form view, tree view in basics. So we are going to look in a little bit detailed in that part. Okay, in that view session. So first we are looking into tree view. So tree view can have some attributes, like to change its behavior. We can add some attributes to tree view. One thing is decoration attributes. I will show you. I've gone through this advanced reviews. Okay. So this decoration, I hope you can see this text. So this tree have the thing, an example idea categories, decoration, info. You see this one. So this decoration is the attribute. So with that attribute you can use the info or font size, something like that. The same BF font weight, it will be the line will have bold. You can put the danger, info, muted, primary, warning, something like that. So to change the look and feel of your preview, we can use this decoration attribute. And you can also put a editable attribute that have two values, like top or bottom. So it is for making the tree view editable, in rather than opening that field, opening that line in a form view for editing. You can make the tree view itself editable. Okay, I hope you get that. So here, if I want to edit this course, I have to open the form view, then only I will have the edit option. So if I want to make that editable in the field view itself, the editable attributes is used for that. So let's check our tree view. It's a form view. This is our tree view. Okay, so I have added a line with some decorations and yeah, only decoration. Yes. Okay. Let's uncomment this one and comment this one, the basic one instead. So now we have a decoration info and decoration danger. You can have decoration, as I mentioned, we can have decoration muted, decoration primary, decoration success, okay, and decoration BF for making the line bold, or decoration IT for making its italic. So let's see the duration. Less, if the duration is less than 5, we will have a different style, and if the duration is greater than 15, then we will have a different style for that record in our tree. That's what this decoration is means. Okay, so let's check. Let's upgrade our module and see what the changes that decorations are making into our form view. Sorry, tree view. Okay, we got an error. So menu item sessions. Is it throwing from the here or not? Let's check. Let's make it the changes undo and try again. Is it coming from there or not? So it's coming from that part itself. Let's go back. Okay, so it looks like everything is fine. Again showing the error. Okay. Oh yeah. So they are saying that we have used duration field, but it is not included in our tree view. That's what they are saying. Okay, we haven't enabled this part. That's why the error. Okay, so you get the point. Okay, so we are using, for making this decoration, we are using this duration. If the duration is greater than less than 5, it will be info, and if the duration is greater than 15, it will be danger. The danger style will be used. So for making that happen, we need the duration in our tree. Okay, so what we have done is we have added this duration but made it invisible. So in the field definition, we have the duration, but it will not be shown in our user interface. Okay, so that was the problem. We can upgrade it. So no problem at all. We have given this for session. So these are all sessions. Now you see there's a slight color variation that from the normal course view you had a black font. Here you have a light green color. So let's change the duration to something bigger. Let's put 16. You see the color, it's red now. So you have different options. So I will change to something else. Okay, now it's duration info. I will change that into something bold. Okay, we can use BF, and for this one we can use IT. Let's go to apps, navigate. So you now you see this. One is italics, one is bold. So these kind of changes you can make with that decoration attribute. So what is the use with this thing? So if you have any thoughts like that, we can use this for representing the states maybe. Okay, if you have a invoice in quotation, invoice in draft stage, and you want to show them in green color or yellow color, and if the invoice is due, you want to show in red color. Those kind of things you can use this. So this is what we have for the decoration. Now let's put the editable also. Editable bottom, we have given editable bottom. Yeah, we have a lot of details in this table, that's why. Yeah, see, I can edit from the preview itself. I can change course and everything. So that's it is not suitable if you have more data in the form view. So you cannot open this course details anymore. Okay, so if you have a small form, a small data table with a few fields, you can use this method, like something, so any a reading or something like that. Okay, if you have a meter reading to enter in hourly basis, you can just use a preview. You don't have to open a few form view for very little things, like you see the contact tags. Now the only thing we have for this contact tag is the name, parent category, and active. So what in each cases, if you want to make any changes in this content, the content of this table, you have to open this form view, then click on the edit button. Instead of if you put the editable attribute for the train view, you can just simply double click on the line and just edit from the preview itself. So that's the change the editable attribute are making to your user interface. Okay, I hope you get the point. So that's the things that we have for the tree view. The next thing is the calendar view. The next thing we are going to discuss about is calendar view. So you know what is calendar view. It's displays records as calendar events, and the root element we are using for defining a calendar view is just like the tree we are using the calendar. Okay, your calendar element is using, and this have different attributes like color. We need the date start, date stop, and string. The date stop is optional. Okay, so the color is to represent to make the segmentation. You will understand when I show you. And the date start, as you know, the start to mark the starting date of that each record, and date stop is to keep the holding the end date of that each record, and the string is the label of each calendar event. Okay, so let's check how we can create a calendar view. So I already added this calendar view definition. So this calendar view definition needs date start, date end. Okay, and for the color attribute, we have given the instructor ID, and the session calendar is the string, and the field name. Okay, so in our session table, we don't have a date stop. Okay, so we have to make that. We have to add that date stops field into our session object. So we are adding a end date field. End date field. So this end date field, the string is end date. It will be stored in the database, and just like our taken seeds, it's also a compute field. So get end date function is setting the data, computing the data for this end date. So we have duration. From that duration we can compute. Okay. So we have two functions for that, to the inverse process. So it depends on start date and duration. The end date is depends on start date and duration. Now the end date is computed with the content we have under this function. So start date and duration are dot in the start date, continue. Okay, then duration time delta, using the time delta we are adding the duration into the start date and setting that value as a end date. So we have the field now in our table. Now we made changes in the table level itself, so we have to update the module also. Okay, we missed something. Yes, we missed to enable the view mode. Okay, we in our action we have to mention the view mode. So here we only have the tree form. The Kanban we will talk later. Okay, so now we are going to add this one. Okay, calendar. Let's upgrade again. I hope you got what I did. So we defined a calendar view. So calendar view is just like the all other views. It's an element of ir.ui view, and we have given an ID. We have put the session.calendar as the name, and it's for the Open Academy session element. Okay, session object. And under the architecture, we use the calendar tag, and we put the string session calendar, and the date start as start date, and date stop we select the end date. The start date and end date are the fields that we have on our session model. We didn't have an end date, so we created a new end date field, and get that for value we computed from the start date and duration. And then we in our action we have to specify what are the type of modes of views we want to show in our user interface. So we already had a tree and form, then now we have added a calendar. Now let's check our Open Academy module, and this is defined for the, yes, we have the calendar view. So let's set the data for that sessions, then only it will be visible for you. First, let's change the attribute edit list so that we can avoid from if we are editing this from here, you don't have to upgrade again. Yeah, it will be for temporary purpose. If you are upgrading the module again, it will automatically set up again. So let's upgrade. Sorry, let's refresh. So the start date we are giving 6/1/2020 and 60 days duration. Okay, let's take a duplicate. Post 0, post 2, post 3, or things. Let's change into 10 or something. Okay. Post 2, you have a start date, something different from today, and it will have a 3-day duration. 3. Okay. Now let's see. You see this one. Okay. For this month, if you are taking this month, the session 1 and session 1 course 0 is starting from 1st June and it's ending on 50. Okay. Then the session 1 course 3 is starting from 1st and ending on 9th, and this one is starting from date today. Yes, it's marked on 10 and ending on 40. So there is a small error in the calculation, I think. So we put the 3, but it is only taken 2. So that's a thing that we can handle in our Python code. So let's leave it as it is. So you see that how we can define the calendar view. So now next thing that we can do is we can have yesterday we mentioned search view. So in the search view, I show you something like we can search with the name and we can search with the description, but we didn't have any we didn't mention talk about how we can add filters, group by things. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss next. This is the session form, and this is session 3. Now we are going to set, yes, okay, we are going to set the filter. So this is our course. So we are going to set the filter search view for our courses. So what I want to do is, I want to add a my courses filter, and I want to have an option. By using that, I can group the courses based on the responsible person. Okay, so here, as we mentioned in the domain, we are using the domain to filter the courses. When I click on my courses, it will only show my course. Okay, the responsible person, if I am the responsible person, then it will show only those records. Okay, then this one is for group by the group the courses based on the responsible person. So these two items that we are going to display. So you may have seen this. For the search option, we have added field. Okay, whatever the field you are going to add here will be available for search. And the next thing that we are adding is the filter tag. So you can give the name of that filter. You have to give a name for that filter. And you need a string. The string will be shown on the drop down, and the domain, based on what condition we have to we are going to filter. So the next thing is a group tag is having a string group by, and the filter, the same filter thing. Okay, but in the context you are using the group by responsible ID. So this context thing is, we are using this context for many purpose in Odoo. I will just mention those things. We can use it in different controls to display many things, like in form views we can use the context, list views we can use user defined, we can use context for user defined filters, and we can use the incumbent views. And the main purpose is passing a default value. Sometimes we can use the context for passing default value. Sometimes we can use this for controlling how the data, that's what we are that's what we are saying now. Okay, controlling how the data is displayed. So we can use it on the filters, group by, and sorting kind of things. We can use the context. And displaying inactive records, we can use that. And for selecting records, we can use for setting languages and different purposes. We are using the context. The context is a Python dictionary, Python text that we can use. There are many cases we are using this, mainly passing values to different records. So we are using this filter by responsible, and in the context we are sending group by attribute, and we are passing a data field name responsible. So the system, when we load the system, when we click on the system will render all the elements of that table by grouping based on the response. So let's upgrade this, upgrade our module. Just like I mentioned, you can search for all these changes, these kind of terms in Odoo source code, and you will get different usage. Okay, different kind of usage of all these things. So the best reference guide you have is Odoo source code itself. Now I have my courses and responsive. Let's click on responsible. Now Joy Wills is responsible. Mark Demo is responsible for one record, and there are two courses. The responsible is not defined, so I'm going to add me as responsible. Okay, the next one also I'm going to add myself, Michael admin. Then let's check my courses. You see, all the others are filtered. Only we have only my own records. The responsible person is Michael admin. So you see the filters are working, and the group wise. So you can add multiple filters like we have here in CRM or any. You can see that in filters you will have, you see, my pipeline, unassigned, open opportunities, unread messages, creation date, a lot of things. Okay, won, lost, archived. You can define what the appropriate filters based on the business object. So here it's a CRM, that's why it's a opportunity pipeline. So you will have you will need this kind of filters. In some cases you don't need this, it might be unassigned, those kind of things will not be relevant in other cases. So you can decide what are the filters you want. So it is a if you are delivering a module with proper filters and group by options to your client, it will be a good user experience for them. So it will be better. Otherwise they will have to go to the add custom filter and select the all, look for the things. There are many things they will not be, they cannot understand, like medium. A lot of things are the backend level things, fields. There are a lot of things, so they will get confused in this option. So you can avoid that by setting a default option for them. You can define filters for them, so it will be a user experience. Here you can see the different group by options also: salesperson, sales team, stage, city, kind of things. So this is how we define filters and group wise in search view. I hope you get the how we can do that. I hope you understand those things. The next thing we are going to discuss is the Gantt view. So we have gone to the tree, we have gone to the search, we have gone to the calendar. Now we are going to Gantt view. So what is a Gantt view? So I will show you. In projects, the Gantt view is a horizontal bar charts. Okay, it's mainly used in the project planning or production planning kind of things. So just like we created the search and the calendar view, they have a instead of this calendar, they have a the Gantt view have a different element. It's called Gantt. So this is the Gantt view that I configured for our session object. So here, just same as the calendar view, it is again the element, one element of ir.ui.view table. It will be saved in that table, and we have given a unique ID, name, and the model is Open Academy session, and in architecture, there we define the structure of the GAN. So here the GAN have a string and date start, date stop, and default group by. So we have these things. We already have the start date and end date, and instructor ID is also there. Now what we have to do is we have to add the Gantt into our actions view mode. Okay, so we already added a calendar. Now we are going to add this Gantt. I just added these things here to make it easy. So we don't need these things now. Okay, let's upgrade the module. Open Academy. Let's go to the sessions. Here you have, here you can see the GAN view icon. You see from 1 to 50, you have the session 1. So Azure Interior already engaged. You can understand from this part that from day 1 to day 15, Azure Interior have this session, and at the same time from 1 to 9, we have the session 1 of course 3, and Deco Edit have session 2 of course 0 from this one. So you see the session 1, the session 2 should be after the session 1, so I can move it from this side to this side. Okay, so if I want to add a new course, I can add from there, and if I want to zoom in or searching for something like that, if you have a lot of reports, we can do that. If you want to make it weekly, see monthly, yearly, or something like that, then we have the GAN view. So it's a vertical bar diagram, or sorry, a horizontal bar chart. Okay, we can use for planning things like production or a project, something like that. And also in this case, we can plan the course. Okay, so we have defined our GAN view. So the things that we use, the fields that we use to define a GAN view is the start date, end date, and the group by. So if you want to group by course, you can do that because we are using the session. Now the instructor ID is given. You can group by course. The session you can group by course. So if you want to change it, you can change it to group by course. And if you have any other field, date field that you want to start, you want to show as a start date, you can put that name of the field here, and just like the date start, you can have the end date field that you have in your model as a date stop field. So this is how the GAN view look like, and this is how we define a GAN view for our model. So now the next thing is the graph view. Okay, so graph view is it's a very important feature. It allows you to generate different reports and different graphical representation of our records. Lot of benefits are there with a graph view. The graph view allows you to aggregate overview of analysis. Okay, different analysis you can make from the graph view. So just like the graph view, we have a root element. It's called graph. Instead of this grant, we will be using the graph. You can see that here I have already added those graph view definition. So this is the root element of that graph view. So just like all other views, you see this thing is common. Okay, this structure until this one is common. So we just given a unique name, unique ID and a name, and this is same for all these all these views for the same object. Okay, you have to take care of that object part. For the same object, you don't have to change it. Only you have to give a different name and ID. The structure is same. So the graph view, field name, course ID, attendance count, type measure. So what is this? That's what we are going to discuss. So in the graph view, we will have different type of graphs. Bar graph is the default one, and we have a line graph, and we have a pie graph, pie diagram. Okay, so these fields have a type attributes. So the fields that we can add as many fields as the fields that we having in our model. We can add here the course ID. We can add the instructor ID. We can add. Okay, so the course this fields inside a graph view have a attribute. It's called type. So this type can accept two values. Okay, one is raw and other one is default. If you have given any type attribute just like this, the type will be default. The value of the type will be default raw. Okay, raw means ROW. So this field should be aggregated by default. Okay, the measure should be group based on, should be aggregated rather than grouped. Okay, so I will show you the change. What is the difference when we give the type, measure and row for fields. Okay, so this field, yeah, we don't have this field now. Okay, for our session we don't have that field. So before that we have to define that field. So attendees count. So attendees count is an integer field. It is computed using this get attendees count, and it will be stored in the database. Okay, we haven't mentioned about this store is equal to true attribute. So this store is equal to true is the computed fields will not be stored in the database by default. So if you want to save the value that is that's returned by this get attendees count, if you want to save that in your database, you have to provide this attribute value is equal to true. Then only it will be saved in your database. So the attendees count is a compute field. So by default, it won't be saved in your database. The value of the attendees count will not be saved in the database. So if you want to forcefully save that into the database, you have to provide the store is equal to true. So we have already given that, used that here. So where is that get attendees count? We have, yes, we have that get attendees count. So this get attendees count depends upon the attendee IDs. So it's just taking the length of that attendee IDs field. Let's upgrade it. Restart it and upgrade the module. No problem at all. Okay, upgrade. Let's open Academy or sessions. Oh, we forgot to add the mode. Okay, let's add that. We forget to add the graph mode in our action. We again have to upgrade. That's the benefit we get when we forget something. So let's go to open upgrade, go to courses, sorry, sessions. You see this graph icon? Yeah, so just click on that. You see we have a bar and we have a line, we have a pie chart. It's a stacked view. So now the value that you are seeing is attendees count. Okay, so you can see the attendees count, other things are automatically added, some number of seats kind of things. So if the integer field system will system have a tendency, integer or data that we can add, values that we can add will be automatically added into the table. This measures. So if you want to make it so your special things into that area, you can add using this measure. So this attendees count is come here just because you added the type as measure. See, you given this attendees count type as measure. That's why it's come here. Otherwise, there will be something count or something will be the default one. This count will be the default one. So now you have group by. So it's now the group by course. I can make that into instructor. See, Azure Interior decode it, and let's change into this one. So Azure Interior have 6 sessions. This one have 6 attendees. This one have decode it have 3. If you put the count, you will have 2 sessions for Azure Interior. You have 1 session for decode it. If you check the duration, you have 25 days duration. You have 3. You can also have the graph view. Okay, if you click on this one, it will be hidden. If you have more persons, let's make it more attractive by changing someone. Yeah, as I said, it's gone. The changes that we made editable. Let's remove this from here. Okay, so this Azure Interior decode it. Let's change this one to someone else. Brendan Freeman. Okay, let's check this one. Group by instructor. Apply. Attendance count. Now let's take the duration. You see the changes. Okay, so this is how the things are working. So let's click on this one. You can see the changes. So this view we can all this thing we made with a almost 5 or 6 lines of code. Okay, you see this graph we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The special that thing that we have is only 4 lines. Okay, only 4 lines we have given. So if the model have the attendance count, we have only given a 4 line code. Now you have a bar diagram, line diagram, graph. In the bar you have a stacked view, and so all these things you have with a 4 line code. So this is the graph view. I hope you get the things. We have a lot of things to come up. We will discuss that part tomorrow. As we discussed yesterday, we mentioned yesterday, you can send your queries to odoo@cybrosys.com. We will try to reply all your queries. Thank you for attending the session. Have a good day. Thanks for watching again. Bye.
If you are interested in knowing more about this or looking for any Odoo implementation or customization in your business, drop your request to info@cybrosys.com.